Welcome everybody to Tales from Tackle Shop, and I've just had a mind fart.
Why?
Well, what episode are we on? 8?
I think it's 8, yeah. Is it 8?
Just as I was doing the intro, I thought, I don't know what episode it is. 7 or 8. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. We're still reading from last week's shock news of Mark Pollard.
Yeah. I know. It's he may have all them Camazan caps, 40 plus, 20 plus, but he's now got a t-shirt, hasn't he?
Has he surfaced?
No, he's in Costa Rica. He's gone way, way away. He's there for another week, I think. So,
I hope some of our followers, some of our tribe, have messaged him.
I'm sure there's a few put some nice comments on links we've shared and things like that, haven't they?
I hope Tony Watlin has got his own back.
Yeah, I think he enjoyed it more than anything, and more than anyone.
Good, good. Do I need to apologise to one or two people after last week?
Yeah, I think you do. Yeah.
No, I don't think I do. In fact, I missed one out.
Yeah, you did.
It's come to light that I've missed another Spud fan out. And I think I should get him in a few minutes, which I'm going to. Would you like to do an impersonation?
We've pissed it.
Is that it?
That's it.
Come on, you can do it.
No. Damo.
Come on.
No. Right, go. Yeah, Joy Boy.
When we were doing the briefing downstairs, which we do every week religiously,
Yeah.
you were doing a lot longer impersonations of
No, I
Sid.
wasn't. No.
You were. So, Sid of Matrix Image fame.
Yes.
Yeah. He's going to get lots of caricatures now of him being a proper fan. So, Sid, I don't apologise.
Yeah.
It's your own fault for mentioning it to Alex. I'm just looking at the main camera. It looks right on the wonk, doesn't it?
That'd be all right.
I hope it's not like slowly dipping down. It looks very weird. Oh well. Anyway, so Sid, I don't apologise. I didn't get any hassle off anybody this week.
No, they've probably just stopped listening, watching.
I'm a bit worried in case one, I've offended them, or two, you think actually they're just biding their time.
I think you've got it coming. Yeah. I think you just wait.
Bring it on, boys. Yeah. Right. So that's the local stuff that's going on. Just taking the mick out of people. We were trying to search the river. Oh, I know what I was going to mention. We didn't mention it in the briefing. It might be a taboo subject. Don't know how we're going to mention this. Off the top of my head, there was something about Martin Bowler a few weeks ago.
No, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, he put something out on social media because he was accused of rehooking a fish and filming it.
Right.
So he put something out. Now, I'm not going to state what's happened because I don't know, and I don't really care. But it made me think that these guys who film fishing for a living, they're under a lot of pressure, aren't they?
Yeah.
To get the results. I mean, there's always tales of John Wilson and Matt Hayes. I mean, John Wilson was, I know back in the day, they reckon he had people going down pre-baiting swims and things. And I'm thinking, well, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you've got fishing cameras coming down. But yeah, there was something, and I don't want to talk about it as in because I can't because I don't know anything. But yeah, that's just there was definitely something going on, and it's caused a bit of controversy.
Right.
But, yeah, we'll have a conversation off air, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But he did put something out, and I read this post from him, and I thought, that's random. What's all that about? But it made me think about some of these so-called angling superstars. They do.
Have you not got any, rambling, moaning about anything this week? People like listening to you moaning about stuff.
Only the guy in the gym that I was telling you about earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, who wanted to use. There was no one was using any of the weights. I'm going to tell you now. You mentioned it. Nobody's using any of the weights at George Campbell, right? The other day, and he wanted to use his dumbbells that I was using. Mate, are you using those? I went, yeah, you can see I am. I want to use them. And yeah, we having this conversation with him. I said, well, you can use the slightly heavy ones or the slightly lighter ones, just fill your boots. But no, he didn't work for the EA, I don't think. And Yeah, but that's the only person I've actually had a fallout with recently. But it was very strange.
Mm. Mm.
I think COVID's got a lot to answer for.
COVID. Blame COVID.
COVID, yeah. I
Yeah.
think people get grumpy and they want to argue for no reason. But yeah, no, we've been quite good lately. No, I haven't really
Just been keeping yourself to yourself.
just been keep yeah.
Yeah.
I've been doing a
You've
great
been
deal.
fishing?
I went today, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because you picked me up.
Yeah.
I felt like you and my dad
Yeah.
picking me picking me up from the roadside. No, I went perch fishing. I caught a million little waspy things, but nothing of any size. But it's where you're having a match.
Hopefully on Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, it's rigid. There's loads of fish there.
Good. Hopefully they're there Sunday.
Yeah. So tell everybody bypass.
Yeah, so this Sunday we've got our practice match and we've got 14 pegs above the bypass on the boats. So yeah, fingers crossed it don't get too cold and the fish disappear, but I think it'll be a good match. From what I've seen anyway, the amount of fish topping and from what you've said you've seen, so
Well, when we went over after you picked me up, there was fish topping everywhere. Wasn't
there was, yeah, it's like raining, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw there was there's loads of rudd there, and
Yeah.
there's loads of little waspy perch. I couldn't catch a big one, but there must be some bigger ones there. Just
Yeah.
wasn't good enough. I have got some more news, which we'll mention now. And my phone's not playing ball. Last weekend was the second Street Fishing World Championships, and for those World Championships.
So what is street fishing?
So street fish is where you fish from the bank, and there were teams. So there were. I can't remember if there was 4 or 6 in a team, but basically it was over 2 or 3 days.
So this is lure fishing.
Lure fishing, and
Lure.
and I think in one section on the first day, one pike was caught,
Right.
and that was it.
Really?
It was rock hard, but the England team did quite well. They came 7th, which is not a bad return. I think that was out of 12. So yeah. We could argue either way on that, I suppose. But no, they did well because it's not something we naturally do. And European countries, the street fishing is really big. So they did really well. So that's good. So the kayak team were world champions. I don't know if they still are. I can't remember. The street fishing team have done quite well. So that's good stuff. Yeah, so the boys there have done a good job. And it sounded like the venue was a bit rock hard. But there we go. And that's about as much of the news as we got, really, apart from me ripping it out of Sid. Might stick another picture up of me.
Poor Sid. Quite a big, complex subject of ground bait.
That's today's topic.
It is.
Why is it so complex?
Because it's an absolute minefield. Because ground baits, everyone has their own little ones they prefer, and every ground bait does something different. It'd be so nice to go in a tackle shop and just pick one bag of ground bait up and use it everywhere. But being a match angler, you can't. You adjust your mixes to conditions, to what species of fish you're targeting, time of year, venues if they've been fished more, angling pressure. So yeah, even though people say, "Oh, you use that ground bait," yes, but not all the time. You might fish a practice match and the fish species are, instead of being good roach, are really small fish, so you have to adjust your ground bait. So
Now, see, I understand that. As in
Yeah.
summer, winter, autumn, spring. Because obviously the fish are going to be more or less active depending on the water temperature, time of day.
Yeah.
But in the winter, you're probably going to want a feed that's got less food for them in it, but more attraction to get them actually looking. But again, if it's cold, it's got to be very careful that you've got.
There's loads of different factors. That's the thing.
Yeah, and so in the summer, a more active ground bait is going to help generally.
Yeah, I think summer ground baits are different to, say, a summer Fenland mix, drain mix. In the summer, you're fishing for a different type of fish. So you're fishing for bream, mainly rudd, an odd roach, and skimmers. Obviously, perch don't really come into that. You don't really associate perch with ground bait. So if you were targeting bream, obviously your feeder ground bait would, depending on how deep and the venue, does it see a lot of fish meal? Do I need to put fish meal in my ground bait is another sort of 50-50 question. A lot of these venues now see loads of fish meal, so There's the old saying, natural or
I thought the old saying was never bag early.
no, that is a saying.
You've changed it, so there's another one.
Yeah. So obviously, for bream on a feeder is going to be a different mix to catching bream on the pole. It's a completely different can of worms. You're using probably drier ground bait, more cloudier. There's less flow, more attraction. Do you know what I mean? You might be using different colours.
Are there
lighter
some
colours.
basics that you stick to?
Yeah, I mean, bream ground bait in the summer, it's pretty much, if you're fishing the feeder, you could use Magic, so Census Magic, Census Lake, Brown Crumb. They do loads of ground bait firms, do all different bream ground baits. Normally they're sweet, and you don't tend to mix them too wet. You normally have them fairly dry to make a bit of a cloud. And then obviously for the rud and stuff, you're more attraction, so you're using more like surface ground baits, real fine ground baits that make a big cloud. But really, I'm going to talk about sort of this time of year,
Right.
and after Christmas, colder, fishing for roach, skimmers, pommies, that sort of thing, basically.
Cool. Also, is it more complicated because obviously some anglers will use ground baits companies or companies who make ground bait who sponsor
Yeah.
them as well.
Yeah, but
And do they not necessarily actually use that ground bait, but they do use the ground bait?
I know what you're saying. Most of them do. I mean, most of the bait manufacturers do something in the range which is similar to others. So, for example, with Van den Eynd and Census, a mix that's really fine, but both very similar, is formerly Supreme in the Census and Van den Eynd Special, which they've both been around for a long, long time. It's a really soft, attractive mix. It just fizzes away all the time. So small skimmers, real small fish love these mixes. So if you were fishing a venue where there's not many big stamp fish in the area, and you wanted to catch lots of smaller fish, something that how can I example? Say like Benwick, for example, halfpenny toll. There's a bit of weed about, so you don't want a real heavy, sticky mix that goes into the weed. You want something that's going to sit on top of the weed and basically fish for you. So these two ground baits are a perfect example of that. And
So
obviously,
would you mix that with brown crumb
no, just on their own.
on their own?
This is when it gets complicated when you start mixing different ground baits. So Lake is probably one of the most popular ground baits for summer and winter. Roach, skimmers, everything loves Lake. Probably the next step up from Supreme. You can add that to river mixes. You can add it to anything Lake. It's just a really universal mix. So going back to this, say I was going to Benwick and it's a bit weedy. There's not lots of mouths, little fish about, but you need a mix that's going to be sort of fine and active. Then you'd probably go for either one of those two, mixed with Canal Black. Viewers, that's fine mature noir. That one. So that is a very good base mix to start. Riddle it off so you get the bigger particles out. Add it with Supreme.
Why is it a good base mix?
It's just fantastic for the drains. I think if you had to pick one ground bait, you'd pick Canal Black. It's just brilliant for roach, pommies, everything.
Is it they got additives in they like or
Yeah,
food? What am I trying to say? Food items? Do I mean that?
Yeah, I think it's
Some nutritional value.
It's a mix that I'm really confident in, and by how much we sell in the shop, I think a lot of anglers use it as well. So, like, if you sort of start with that and then add ground bait to that to tailor to what you want to catch.
So you'd mix that with so how much water would you put with that then?
It depends on what you're mixing, but that Census ground bait takes a lot of water compared to Van den Eynd.
So would you mix it with water first, riddle it off before you added the other two?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So how'd you mix it?
So everything goes in dry.
Yeah.
So obviously, if I'm using a bag of Supreme, a bag of Noir, and a bag of, I don't know, fine mature Noir. Say that's my mix. All the dry ingredients go into your bucket, whiz them up so they're mixed in, and then you add your water with whatever additives and stuff you're using. Obviously, the amount of water going in deters how the ground bait reacts as well. With Supreme, it's a really active mix, and you can get a lot of water into it, make it sort of heavy, but it's still really active. Same with Special, you can just keep adding and adding and adding water to it, and it never wants to bind. It just wants to break up all the time. So, Canal Black is sort of your base mix, or another ground bait is Vandenine G5. Very similar sort of ground baits. G5's a bit more crummy, little bit finer than Canal Black. Say for example, now we're going into a particular area there's more fish to catch. You can be a bit more selective, so you want to sort of select the bigger fish. So this is when I'd get rid of your fine, attractive ground baits and go for something a bit more. Let them have it, if you know what I mean. So you could then start adding your gross guard-ons if you were going for like a sensor sort of mix.
Would you still use that one as the base?
Yeah, start with that one for most of your drain fishing. That one, and then.
So why is that census one good?
Why?
Yeah.
Me personally got confident in it, and it's just it does a bit of everything. That again is another brilliant ground bait. So Census do a Noir, which is the sort of a coarser one, and then fine mature Noir. So as it gets colder, I tend to go for the fine mature Noir. When there's still a bit more warmth, not so many frosts, you'd go with your normal Noir. Very sweet, these ground baits. I think Census ground baits for roach are just brilliant. Another ground bait, which obviously each ground bait does something different. So the two ground baits, the Supreme and the Special, are ground baits that it's hard to explain, if you know what I mean. They're more attractive, softer, finer, not as heavy, so they're going to disappear off, if you get any flow and stuff. So another two ground baits, but obviously if you're going down the Vandenine road, you've got Secret, which has been around forever, really sticky, brilliant roach ground bait.
So that's a different make called Secret as well.
No.
Special was the other one.
Special,
Wasn't it?
yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
That was Vandenine in the Special.
Special.
And Turbo, Black Turbo. If you wanted a mix to do a bit of everything, you could use Turbo, Secret, and G5 for pretty much all your fishing. And then going to the Census, you could use Canal Noir, Fine Mature Noir, and obviously Lake, again, depending on which brand you sort of prefer. This ground bait is particularly good if you were fishing in the Ouse, deeper venues. It's sticky, it's fine. You can riddle it off. I mean, I do use this quite a bit in March when I know it's going to be flowing and I want my ground bait to carry a lot of bait. So that's the other thing you have to consider when choosing your ground bait. If you're trying to use Supreme or Special, it's not going to hold your pinkies down to the bottom.
Yeah.
So this is where Secret, Turbo, and the gross guard-ons are sticky ground bait, so it'll hold your particles and get to the bottom. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that coming across the right way? Turbo mixed with Canal Noir and Fine Mature Noir. That's a mix I've been using quite a lot. Just a brilliant roach mix. Say, for example, after Christmas, the venues have been hammered, the fish have seen a lot of ground bait, then you might want to start riddling your ground bait off. So getting rid of the big particles, riddling it off. And sometimes what happens is the smaller fish disappear. So you can be more selective with an active ground bait, and then you'd perhaps start to add a bit of when the skimmers are starting to feed. You know, after Christmas, when there's a few rudd about, you'd add your lake.
Instead of
Or you just go for like Canal Black and Lake, just to give it that bit of activity.
right. It's very complicated.
Oh mate, it's a minefield, and then you can start adding leames and things like that to your mixes. I mean, obviously, if anyone wants to know a bit more, come and see us in the shop. It's far easier for me to explain and go through each one and say, well, that does that, that does that.
Is it easier for someone to come into the shop and say, Alex, I want to fish this venue
Yes.
this time of year? You can say, well, what I would use is
Yeah.
this, and this, and this is why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, that is because also we haven't even mentioned additives.
No. So obviously there's different types of additives.
And why would you? So before we start talking about those,
Yeah.
why would you want to put an additive in when you've already got smells and other things happening with these different types of ground bait?
So this arrow mix is obviously very sweet. You add that to your water, and then obviously the water goes into the ground bait, and you mix it up. Yeah.
You got two. You got.
One's a super black, and one's a standard one.
What's the difference between the two?
The difference between those two, the super black has got sort of a black colourant in it, so it dyes your ground bait a little bit when you start adding it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why you'd add that to your mix is obviously for the sweetness, but the biggest thing is it deadens your mix. It makes it inert. So there's different ways of doing it. Arrow mix is the easiest way, and then the other way is to mix your ground bait quite a way in advance of you using it. So the older it is, the less active it's going to be.
Right. Why? I thought it'd be the other way around.
No. So the reason why you want your mix to be less active is because you want to try and attract bigger fish.
Gotcha.
So the more active the mix, the more, well, depending on the venue, the more smaller fish. Like on the drains, we have to be quite selective because we want to catch the biggest damp fish. If you are fishing a canal, you want to be the other way. You want to attract everything into your swim. So probably adding, unless it's a canal with a lot of boat traffic, Aramix is quite good because it doesn't, when you get boats and that going over, it doesn't sort of fluff your ground bait up and disperse it. So that's another advantage of using Aramix. But on shallow canals where you're topping up regularly, you're better off not having Aramix because you want a more active mix.
Gotcha.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
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 The same with leames. Different leames do different things.
Yeah.
All right. The other thing is Trasix. Obviously, it's a ground bait dye, so it's a powder. Again, get your ground bait, put it in your bucket, dry, sprinkle your Trasix in, whiz it round, then add your water.
Right. Because I was thinking of molehill.
Molehill, yeah, but that's soil.
Soil.
So you've got
an
soil,
old
leames.
Yeah.
Yeah. Molehill's particularly good for certain things like perch. Perch, for some reason, really find molehill attractive. If you was fishing bloodworm and joker, sometimes molehill's better than your normal leames. You can feed chopped worms in soil. Then you've got som, which is like a finer lean, more cloudy. So do you, like at Little Port, for example, do you feed soil? Do you feed damp lean? Or do you feed a heavy Terre de Riviere sticky? Obviously, the heavier lean goes down to the bottom, doesn't break up, depending on what fish you're trying to attract. Whereas if you were fishing for skimmers, you'd have your som, your damp lean, because it's more cloudy, and then as the fish are feeding, it creates a bit of a cloud on the bottom.
How have you learned all this?
By talking to people and fishing yourself. And then obviously soil, you'd have, some people would ball in a mix with som in to create a big cloud, and then cup in 4 or 5 rich balls with Terre de Riviere to hold their bait, so it goes down, then breaks up. So there's all these little things that you can do with ground bait. I mean, probably like in the UK, we're not anywhere near as advanced as the French and the Belgians with their ground baits. They are.
Well, you haven't got a load of pigeons and collecting the poo.
Well, that's it.
No,
yeah.
no. So I'm afraid until you have what's a pigeon cage called?
An aviary.
Or pigeons. That's what you need to tackle and bait.
Right. Yeah.
Get Tim in there.
Fresh shit.
It is.
Where's your dad? Oh, he's just clearing pigeon shit.
Mate,
Bless him.
what you just mentioned there, I was like nodding, going, oh, I lost me now.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
That's why when we said we was doing ground bait, it's such a hard topic to cover. You know, if you was going to one venue, you'd say, "I use this ground bait," blah blah blah. We
So,
could talk for hours and
so as a
hours about
team,
ground bait.
right? So team fishing,
Yeah.
do you then all use slightly different variations and then come
Well,
back and share your findings?
I think it's a good question. I think years ago, teams would all use the same ground bait mix, but over the year, like that's the ground bait mix the team's going to use, which is all well and good, if it's the right mix, isn't it? You know, that's generally what happens on international level. You know, getting the right ground bait, the way it reacts and stuff like that is a massive part because everyone's fishing at 13 meters, everyone's fishing bloodworm and joker. How you feed your ground bait makes a massive
You know, you
difference.
keep mentioning this international rules and fishing at 13 metres. Do they have to fish at 13 metres?
They can fish shorter than that,
But that's
that's the limit they can fish.
right. So what? So they're going to be up to 13 metres.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. I kept thinking they can't all have to fish at 13
No.
metres. That's crazy.
Excuse me. So that's when ground baits excuse me, the right volumes of bait and stuff like that makes a massive difference. That's where we sort of, because we don't fish to them rules. As a team, obviously certain anglers get sponsored by, if you're not sponsored by a bait manufacturer, different ground baits, and everyone knows what certain ground baits do in different ranges. So the key thing is when you're sort of coming together as a team, knowing what the ground bait mix is doing and why that's working, you know, so then other anglers can go back and go, well, I need a sticky mix, I need a mix that can hold lots of particles, or I need a really inert mix with no bait in. Do you know what I mean? That's the finer detail.
But as a team, do you like not have a? We have to start with this. This is our mix.
No, most people have their favourites.
So, Aris, you leave it to the individuals to sort
Yes.
it out.
Yeah. Years ago, everyone used the same mix.
Right. Wow.
I think I don't think that well, unless you get given your ground bait, then probably everyone uses the same mix, if you know what I mean.
So, tackle and baits. Do you have this discussion beforehand? What you're going to
yeah,
use?
we all discuss what ground baits we've used and what quantities and what leans we've used, or how wet it is, you know, how much you put in at the start and things like that. So, you know, you could speak to 5 anglers, which is why having lineups and things like that make a big difference, because you could all use the same ground bait, but the way people mix it and the way how much water they add to it and stuff like that, like you go along and you use the same ground bait, but it feels totally different from angler to
I
angler.
bet.
Yeah.
I mean, there's I suppose there's some mileage in having all the ground bait for the team mixed up by one person who does it just right.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. But I'm not sure about that one. I think that becomes really hard. You know, that's why international level, they have people mixing the bait, they have people doing the bait, the bloodworm and joker and things like that. It's a different ball game.
Yeah, but yeah, just what you've mentioned is like, whoa.
Yeah, that's why there's so many ground baits. But there's a lot of ground baits do the same things, just made by different people.
Yeah, yeah,
If you know what I mean.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
You haven't even picked up any of the Sono baits ones.
Well, no, we've got obviously Sonu So Natural. You've got the Black Roach, Sweet Skimmer, which that's been really popular in the shop. Sweet Skimmer, that is a really nice ground bait.
So why has that been popular?
I think because of the smell.
Do you think some ground
Yeah,
baits catch the angler?
I do, yeah. Obviously, it catches fish as well. I just think that it just smells so nice, and obviously the fish like it as well. Even though it says Sweet Skimmer, I think roach do like it.
Well, yeah, the fish aren't going to bother what it
No.
says on the label, are they?
No,
No.
roach do love it. And then obviously riddling it off, getting air in your mix makes the ground bait react differently. It's an absolute minefield. We could talk forever and ever and ever. You know, we could just talk about census ground bait today and then talk about Sonu another day and Van der Nine another day and Bait Tech and yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask more questions, but I think I'll stop because otherwise this will be 2 hours long because my brain's spinning.
Well, you can ask the questions. Why don't you know?
Okay, very quickly then. So, Van der Nine,
Van der Nijnd.
I remember that when I was match fishing 30,
Yeah, a long while ago.
40 years ago, and that was an awesome brand then.
Yeah.
So how does a company like that get such a good reputation as a ground bait manufacturer?
Obviously, having the right anglers to promote it, and
But it must
people
work.
using it catching fish. You know, Van der Nijnd's a Belgian ground bait. You know, you speak to some anglers and they prefer Van der Nijnd to Census, and some prefer Census to Van der Nijnd.
There's a specific smell of one of the ground baits that I recognise even to this day. Is it special?
It'd be Lake, I
Lake.
would think. What, the Van der Nijnd
Yeah.
one? Super Cup.
Super Cup.
Yeah,
Super
probably
Cup.
Super Cup.
It's Super Cup. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a real sweet, and you can smell it.
Oh yeah,
I was walking down the anglers ago. Someone's got Super.
yeah. Lake, same as Lake. You know, you could be downstream of someone, and you sort of hear them mixing the ground. You could straight away you can identify. It's mad. It is mad.
That is crazy.
People go, "Oh, what's in that?" And you go, "Oh, that's you got Lake in there. I reckon you got some bit of brown crumb, yeah. Uh, um, what else you got in there? Noir, and you can smell them in the ground baits.
Going into carp fishing now,
Yeah.
there's a big thing at the minute whereby some carp anglers have been introducing hormones.
Right.
Is that right?
Okay.
Some kind of, I'm going to get it slightly wrong. Charlie would know. They've been introducing something into the bait that's made the carp really react to this bait, but it's affected the carp.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to get it slightly wrong. But they think it's caused major problems in fisheries.
Right.
It's gone that far. Because obviously, there's a lot
Yeah.
of money, isn't there, involved
Yeah,
with
yeah.
buoys and stuff. So is there mileage in someone coming along and actually discovering the best ground bait? Or does it not work like that?
I think there's never going to be the best ground bait. You know, if you fish one venue all year, you'd still tailor your mix
Right,
according
yeah.
to what the venue, what the conditions are. You know, anglers have so much confidence in fishing is everything. And if you're confident in a ground bait, it's like there could be a new ground bait and you think, oh, I'll try it. But after a little while, you always go back to that
Yeah.
favoured mix, don't
Yeah,
you?
that's angling, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Favourite, same in
Yeah.
lure fishing. Favourite lures.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's brilliant because, guys, basically the bottom line is, don't try and work it out. Phone Alex. It's a lot easier.
Come in the shop.
Come in the shop. It's a
Yeah.
lot easier. Yeah. But it is complicated, and I can see. I would get now. I think you kind of need a base for summer, winter, autumn.
That's why I always have that as my base for roach fishing on the drains in particular. In the summertime, it'd be a different, you know.
But as in a base starting point, and then you can go from there.
Yeah.
can't you? Yeah.
So the things you got to take note are what species am I fishing for, what conditions, which makes a big difference, depth of the venue. Do I want to catch them early or do I want to catch them late? There's
Never bag early.
Never bag early. Yeah, it's for me getting the right ground bait is quite a critical bit.
Cool. We're going to get onto the match results. Before we do, again another gym anecdote,
Right.
because I'm gonna ruin Alex. I'm gonna steal Alex's thunder here. One of the guys at the gym, his name's Dave. He's not an angler, but I know he goes every Friday night to the ship.
Dave.
And has a pint. And he was saying to me, "Did you hear about the match at the weekend? They caught over half a ton of fish," which we'll get onto later. And then he said to me, he goes, "That river's going to be blocked up with ground bait."
Really?
And I went, "No, it won't." I said, "It's got more chance of being blocked up with all the tampons and dog poo bags that are in it."
Yeah.
And he went, I said, the ground bait will just
Fish eat it.
fish eat it. It will just disappear because it'll get. What happens? So here's a question then: ground bait that's not been eaten by the fish, does it rot, or will it? What will happen to it?
See, I'm not sure about this. Obviously, people used to say, like on commercials, not allowed ground bait because of the, you know, fish not eating it. Well, I can assure you, it all goes, it all disappears.
It's so fine.
Yeah.
It's gonna. I know with boilies are these carp complexes.
That's a different ball
yeah.
game. Yeah, boilers are different, aren't they?
Yeah, they'll sit there and just rot.
Yeah, if they don't get eaten. But ground bait, you think it just disperses, especially with a bit of flow. It's gone, isn't it?
And there's so I suppose fish of very small, from fry size to whatever, £2 bream or bigger, are going to eat it. So
Yeah.
it gets eaten by a far wider range of fish than
Yeah.
something like a boilie. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to say, I went to him, no, mate. I said, don't worry about that. But it's funny how people get.
I mean, as if he's worried about the ground bait. What about all the other rubbish that goes in there?
Well, when I mentioned it to him, he said, oh, yeah, I didn't think of that. And then I mentioned about the dredging was meant to take place and isn't. And then he started talking about the road collapsing. So the whole conversation went, he wasn't worried about ground bait after that. But it's strange how non anglers will talk about
Yeah.
things that are.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
It's a bit like, really? Is that?
it's almost as if someone spoke to him, and it's like, oh yeah, you got to be careful all the food going in.
It is.
It's
It's a
like,
bit like old housewives'
yeah,
tales, yeah. Yeah, but no, so that was quite interesting. Then I mentioned, obviously, I went on to about how all these matches provide income for the local amenities, blah blah blah, and he was soon on side.
yeah,
Yeah,
good.
yeah, it was good. Right, shall we get into the match results?
Yes, mate.
Now, I'm not sure if I might have upset one or two of them. One in particular,
Ooh.
Darset.
Oh, we ain't had nothing yet, but it is early. We're getting earlier and earlier.
Yeah, so if we haven't got any match results from Dorset, then obviously I upset Richard last week.
Yeah.
And, well, I'm hoping he's actually going to get his own back when I get the
I'm sure maybe that's why he's not come back to you, eh?
Yeah, maybe he's going to get his own back on the video, which would be good if he does. So what we're doing now, we'll drop in all the match results from the guys, and as per normal, really big thank you for helping out, guys, and yeah, let's see how everyone got on.
All right, just reporting on round 5 of the Stafford Isaac Walton Winter League. We've got one round after this, so round 5, here we go. It was fished on the canal, Shropshire Union Canal, Norbury, split between Norbury Junction and Church Eaton and Little on, the ones that know it. It'd been warm in the week, expected it to be quite good at the weekend, to be fair, and the canal did seem a bit of a funny colour where we were at Norbury especially, but it didn't fish well in areas at all, but it's heavily shoaled up, and that's winter time I suppose for you. But first on the day, Steve Fogel, or Smiler as they like to call him, or Mr. Happy and everything like that. If you know it, you'll know what I mean. He's trounced some matches. He's had £12 one. He's been NPEG at Norbury on the boats, C11. He's had a load of little perch, roach. He's had a lovely day fishing. Great. He's like nearly doubled second place. So he's been out by a country mile, the Smiler has. Johnny Green, Colmick Northwest, he's next with 6-12-1. He's had roach and perch. He was in the same section as Steve. Third, Evergreen, Pete Madeley, Lifestyle Blue, 6-10-11. He's been in that same section as well. So it's a very good section on the day. He's had I've seen the picture on Facebook with his. He's had a load of little roach. Paul Turner, Canal Legend, Maver Midlands, same section again. 6-9-12. He's had all roach as well. So lots of fish caught in that section. Seems it's the section to be on. Next, got Glenn Law fishing for the Sparks. He's had 5-13. He's been on a different section. He'd been on D section, which is at Little on. He's been nearest the basin, I think, on the crossover length. And then finishing off, we've got Ben Garbett, £5.12, Maver Midlands, and he's been in the same section as Glenn, I think. So he's done really well, as Ben always does, to be fair. He's had a great league up to now. Teams on the day. Maver Midlands, 16 penalty points, that's all they had, which absolutely fantastic result yesterday. Off a real difficult canal, there was one or two blanks and all sorts of 16 points is amazing, to be fair. Cadence Super Team, 27 points. 4 Ashes, 32 points. Next is Drennan Northwest, which is the team I fish with, and Colmick Northwest, both on 33. Lifestyle Blue, they were on 36, which means lead today, still the same order as it was before, but I think they've gone a bit more ahead, Maver Midlands have. Maver Midlands out in front, 130 points. Cadence Super Team, 144. Drennan Northwest, 157. Then there's a bit of a gap then. Colmick Northwest 186. Who we got next? Four Ashes 187 and Lowsar Blue 188. So those three there are close. And we've got one more round, and I think it's going to be mainly on the Sasworcester Canal around Stafford. Expect that's going to be hard, to be fair, in areas. So I would imagine Maver Midlands will probably win the league, but you never know, to be honest, in fishing. So, as we like to say, Chave, over and out.
Hi there, it's Chave from the Southwest, reporting on the fourth round of the Upper Thames Winter League. Fourth round because we missed one, so we're a bit behind everybody else. But here we go. So this week we're on the Kent-Avon Canal, and the sections were between Bradford and Avon and Semington. Fish in atrocious conditions, wind, rain, lots of leaves, horrible. But anyway, the chap who overcome that the best was Paul Waddington. Now people will know Paul. Would sort of if he he basically had £15.14, but he'd probably admit to £4 or £5, maybe £6. I always say it's good to double whatever Paul says and add £2 and almost there. But he did really well. He was on A6, the end peg at the clay pit down in Bradford and Avon, 15.14. Caught lots of little skimmers between 4 and 6 ounces, so they're probably 12 ounces to the pound if that's the case. But and he caught them on sort of a few on punch, a few on pinky, a few on maggots. So he sort of rotated his swims and done really well. Second up, I mentioned him last week, Kevin Rolls from Census Devices. Kevin was drawn down at Wadden. Again, old favourite of mine. Used to fish for 10 years ago. We haven't seen one for years there. But Kevin had lots of skimmers. He's really good at that on the canal. He's caught them on dead maggots in ground, but he tells me £10, 3.5. Third was Andy Reid from the Census Lobbies. Andy was drawn at Semington, the sort of end peg again, longest walk. He was on B6, had £9.12 again of skimmers. And then we had Alan Gibbs, who was drawn at Moulton Drive, G1. Alan's fishes for Matrix Talisman. Alan had £9 and 3 ounces. In fifth place, Derek Jarman, another seasoned campaigner. From Census Lobbies, Derek's had £8.5, and he's been in the same sections as a winner, but on peg 3, so he sort of bucked the trend of being on an end peg. So well done, £8.5 for Derek. And then we had Robbie Kepner, Kev's sort of old travelling partner, another seasoned campaigner. Sir Bob of Beanacre, we call him. Rob had £8 exactly and was drawn at Semington, A1. So going on to the teams, this sort of, I hate saying this, but you'll find out later. But leading the day was Census Devices with 34 points, done really well. So they bucked the trend again of Diver Gordon League winning every round. Diver Gordon League was second with 32. Another Census team, Census Lobbies, had 29. Well done to them. Then we had a draw for 27. Matrix Talisman took it with 2 section wins over Preston Innovation Slashers had none. And again, the strongest team in the league, holding everybody else up, was my lot, Garbany and Blackmore. We've had an atrocious league this year. I don't know, awful really, but lots of end pegs, lots of lass. I was one of them, but there we go. Andy might say it's being a bit Spursy, but I wouldn't want to say it myself, but there we go. So on to the league itself with 2 matches to go. Dara Gordon League are winning it with 5 points. Lobbies, Census Lobbies, I've coughed once, so I'm getting better. Sorry, Elvis, for making you ill last week. Lobbies have got 13. Again, it's close again. Census Devices on 15. Matrix Talisman on 16. Preston Innovations Thatchers on 17. And got it wrong again. Garbany and Backmore Vale, my lot on 18. Anything can happen. 2 more rounds to go. We're again on the Kent-Avon Canal next week, but we're back at Devices, so we're going to be somewhere between Horton and Honey Street, I should imagine. But there we go, over and out, Motty, and see you all next week. Hopefully I'll get another end peg, and this week I won't mess it up. But there we go, bye.
Right, guys, so thanks for those results. Let's start looking at our local ones, and we'll head into Lincolnshire first, shall we?
Yep.
We're creatures of habit, we've got to do it the same way. So this is from Chris Hodson, this is Spilsby AA. This is last Wednesday, 15th of November. They only had 9 fish, and he said Groundhog Day ensued. So guess who won?
Dave Ashmore.
Yeah. With Dave Ashmore topping up his pension for the week with his 3rd win in a row. Might be 4, but we've lost count.
No, right.
So Dave Ashmore was first with £8, 6.5. Don Green was second with £7.8, and third was Derek Skinner with £5. So the next match is Wednesday the 22nd, 8:30. It'll be too late because it's obviously
Today.
today when this goes out. It's a half-8 draw. Meet at half-8. 8:45 draw in the lay-by on Vicarage Lane. Everyone welcome. Next Sunday the 26th is the third round of the Winter League again. This can be fished as an open, so please let the organisers know via the East Links Match Anglers Facebook page if you would like to book on. And the fifth round of the Boston DAA Autumn League did take place yesterday on the Barnett, Windsor Bank. He doesn't have the full results. Only one angler caught.
Oh, what a shame.
That's a bit cool. What's going on there?
Frustrating, isn't it? Because there's so many anglers that want to go and fish them drains, but it just... They used to be one of the best winter leagues ever, the Boston Winter League.
So those fish must move a lot. Or
I don't know.
did they just get the venue wrong for that time of year?
I think they keep pumping it and...
Oh.
Yeah. But I did see that Mr. Cook caught a carp the other day. At the Bargate drain. I'm sure he was. They was on Windsor Bank, weren't they?
Yeah.
Just going to move this ground because it's doing my head in.
Is it over your headphone lead?
Yes.
Yes. I was wondering when he goes, I kept seeing you doing this.
Yeah.
I think I'm not going to tell him.
It's getting closer and closer.
Yeah, I'll see if we can work it out. Right, so that's the sort of Boston area.
Yep.
What else we got, bud?
So, Ramsey St Mary was host to quite a few matches this week. Starting with the Ramsey boys. Malcolm Plant won Sunday's match with £18.7, which is good weight for there. Paul Kilby 10.14, Ray Everton £8.10. That was Sunday's match. And then Tuesday it had the Tuesday Club on there.
And the same anglers?
Odd ones maybe, yeah. Match winner was Peter Bellington with £10.2. Tony Fenn £9.6, Bob Fitch Tench £7.2.
It's not easy.
It's not easy being cheesy, you know.
It's not easy.
So that was Tuesday Club. I think this week, which will be, they would have fished yesterday, they're at the Bower. We'll see. Moving on to the Frank Bevilacqua Memorial match.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So
Yeah.
organised by...
Jeff does it.
Yep.
Jeff Tuttleby every year. It's third year now, I think. So they use the Carrot Wash at Whittlesea. They use Ramsey St Mary's, and this year they use Factory Bank. Normally they use the Narrows, but Factory Bank's been fishing all right, so they've gone on there. They do it continental style, so obviously top 3 is in whichever order of the 3 venues, and the top 3 last year are the top 3 this year. Funnily enough. Match winner was Paul Wright with £31.12 from the Carrot Wash.
Oh, that's good weight.
Yeah, he had some tench and a couple of nice bream. Runner-up, continental style, was Mr. Tim Bates. Drew the best peg in Ramsey. Peg 1 on Factory Bank.
Oh, draw bag.
£19.5. So it's good to see my dad actually catch some fish on a, draw decent. Because he draws nearly as bad as me, you know. Third overall was Mr. Milkman, Simon Godfrey, with £17.8. He was peg 3 at Ramsey St Mary's. So that was your top 3. Fourth overall was Ray Malley from the Carrot Wash. He had some tench and some big billies for £25.12. John Price had £17.6 from Factory Bank. He was about peg 3 or 4.
What?
And
yeah,
Dr. Whip. Yeah.
Did someone have to carry him down the bank?
Well, he's nearly at fighting fit weight now.
Did he have like an entourage helping him?
Yeah.
He's had a life-threatening operation, hasn't he?
He has indeed,
Was
yes.
it brain surgery?
Well, he's been telling everyone it was a sex change, but...
What? To a Welshman from an Irishman?
Yeah. He won't go there.
Does he watch any of these?
Yeah, I doubt it. But someone will mention to him anyway. And then 6th overall, and second at Ramsey St Mary, was Colgate Keith with £9.5. So, most importantly, there was over £500 raised for Prostate Cancer UK.
Oh, that's awesome, isn't it?
So brilliant match as always. I think there was 33 or 34 fished. They had the draw at the George at the Ramsey Narrows there. Good breakfast, I've been told. So well done, Jeff. Fantastic. And I'm sure we'll do it again next year.
Yeah, Jeff, well done. That's awesome,
Yeah.
isn't it? Really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. Going back to your dad, did he enjoy his tie last week?
He did, yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He was very quiet.
He's always quiet.
His tone of voice got lower and quieter throughout the.
You know what it is, don't you?
No.
Just gets tired, like me.
He was flagging, was he?
Yeah. As soon as you sit down, it's like
Yeah. He was like
going slow mo.
talking like this. I'm going, Tim, I can't hear you.
That's because you're getting old.
What? Right, so let's get back to bless you, back to this.
Yeah. So then it just brings us to the East Midlands Winter League round 5 at March.
And it was crap.
It was terrible. There was
No fish.
no fish. I mean,
Didn't use the right ground bait.
didn't use the right ground bait.
Double pinky.
Yeah, double pinky, red wall for most of them, I think. So to summarise, we were from.
Hold on, before we start, when did I see John Taylor and his crew?
What do you mean?
And you? That was last Wednesday, wasn't it?
I wasn't fishing. I was
No.
working.
So
You mean that was Wednesday? Yeah.
so last Wednesday I walked over the Green Bridge, the health centre bridge, and I heard the dulcet tones of Mr. Taylor. I looked at him. I said, "Hello, John." He goes, "Hello."
Hello.
I said, "Have you caught a few?" He goes, "Yes." I said, "Have you had 356?" He goes, "No, I've had 321."
Yeah.
So I just went into the first swim next to the blue boat, just trying to catch some perch on Drop Shot. And I was only there for 2 hours, and then you were there, weren't you? And then
I was walking past.
he
Yeah.
popped his head up at the end. I said, "John, how many did you end up with?" He goes, 387.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, I only saw you catch 3.
You know the saying, don't you?
You got dodgy.
He has 118 and then starts at 118.
Has he got a dodgy clicker?"
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, he then showed me a picture. He had a rather large net full of fish. So there was a lot of pleasure anglers, weren't there, along there on
Yeah,
Wednesday?
practicing, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was getting. I'm amazed. These fish, there just must be so many fish in there.
Frightening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, A section was where the low numbers are, so what we call sort of BMX track, far end. B was sort of narrows, sort of round disabled platforms area. C was wiggies on the grass. D section was from behind the swimming pool and finishing about where the slipway is. E section run from sort of to the left of the slipway to mist underwater, which is probably the famous peg, it's the
Isn't it?
Wi-Fi peg.
Yeah.
F section was from above the turning bay near the health centre and finished just before the allotment stile. G section was the allotment stile to one below the windmill. H section was all on the willows. J section was from the guide hut, scout hut, going towards the turning bay. And then K section was either side of the turning bay. So
Does Cheesy peg it out for you?
he puts the pegs in, yeah.
That's a big ask again. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Bless him.
So the match averaged out at £26.6 an angler in 70 pegs.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the best it's fished in as 70 pegs.
So, guys, if you had under £26, you're crap.
Not necessarily. So yeah, £26, £6 as an average, £1,866 if my maths is correct.
So, my mate Dave at the gym, he said there's over half a ton of fish caught. And I don't know what is a ton. You know this.
2,224
So there's
or £240, is it?
So there's well over half a ton of fish caught.
Yeah.
Nearly 2/3 of a ton.
Yeah. And when you consider not many there's probably only a handful of fish caught over a pound. The rest are all below that. That's serious amount of fish. Apparently, it weren't going to run. That's all I'm going to say.
Who said that?
A certain person said he's got inside information that it's not going to run on Sunday.
And what happened?
It was 2 gram pace with a downstream wind that made it feel like it was running at 100 mile an hour. It was absolutely ripping.
You need some of those pig block end feeders, mate.
Yeah, 9 ounce. I think you'd sink 4 foot in the sill. Yeah, it was obviously the more sheltered pegs and the more pegs with a bigger gap, as always.
I was meant to have a Xander comp on Rutland, got cancelled because I phoned you up, didn't I, on the Saturday. I said, our comp's going to get cancelled tomorrow. Are you guys going to be all right? It was like, it was windy.
Yeah. So, outright winner with £58.8 was Rob Wright, Gobber. Gobber, yeah. He started fishing again now. Yeah, he was only fishing twice a week. Now he's started again. He does 4 times a week.
Cool, I bet he's told everybody, hasn't he?
Yeah.
10 times over.
Yeah. £58.8, so well done, mate. Runner-up was Dave Rao from peg D3, which is the peg with the big gap to the right.
Where was Gobber?
Gobber was D1, so he's M peg behind the swimming pool.
They're all the fish are in there,
Yeah.
they? Yeah, nice.
So Dave Rao had £56.11. Third overall with £54.10 was Kai Jerome.
Hey guys.
Hi guys. Yeah. He had £54.10.
Is that not the third week running or third match running that he's...
What's that? Been in the best section?
No, done really well. I saw something on a match report.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's only £4 off doing two league matches on the trot.
That's the one.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. Who wrote that match report?
Don't know. Not sure.
Oh.
He had £54.10 from probably one of the most consistent pegs on the river.
The culvert.
The culvert peg.
Isn't that the winning peg?
Normally, yeah. But he still had a mega weight. Third overall from the MPEG K7. Fourth overall.
Come on.
Sorry. Just all these roach weights have got to my head. With £50.4 was Tickle the Pickle, Louis Theroux, Jonathan Means. And then...
No way, I've just seen.
Then, last in the frame...
It must have been that practice on Wednesday.
Obviously he didn't practice enough, did he?
No.
With £39.13, moaned all day about his peg and everything else. Obviously you've seen the Facebook posts.
Oh no, where was he?
He was in between first and second in the match. So, I think Mr. 118 John Taylor, practicing every day, £39.13, has got the old chip shop award this week.
Are you going to chip shop him?
Yeah, 100%. He's had the biggest chip shopping of the year. He's had £58.8 one side and £56.11 the other.
And you're going to chip shop him?
Hell, big time. He's only been beat by like £10 either side nearly.
Do you know what? When I saw him on Wednesday, he's brilliant. Because he goes, I get a mention every week and you take the mickey at me. I never rise to it once. I said, can we have a chat about it? I said, the banter's brilliant, isn't it? He goes, yeah, I do enjoy it, yeah. So now you're gonna give him a T-shirt as well.
Yeah, he's getting one.
John, I do apologise. I have nothing to do with this.
Oh, what is it? Because he's from Wisbeach. He's not an Arsenal fan as well.
He may as well be. Right, he'll be an honorary one, yeah.
So that was the top 5, I think.
You're going to give him a T-shirt. That's brilliant.
He's got to, isn't he? There's a few chip shop awards which, on any other day, people like Chris Daniels was chip shopped. Hasn't come unnoticed. Phil Chesterton. There's quite a few kicking about. Simon Smith again. Didn't want to mention it. So yeah, there was people. As soon as the match had finished, everyone was like, "Have you seen John Taylor's been chip shop?" So it was like Matt Barker again. Sorry, yeah.
He's got to be the honorary lifetime member, isn't he?
There's a few about.
Yeah, maybe we should get honorary lifetime member T-shirts made for next season.
So
with Andre Agassi haircuts on and stuff.
Sweatbands. So overall, the venue fished amazing. The lowest section winning weight was £26, which is amazing. Unbelievable fishing. And yeah, just I wish it was like it every match. We know full well come February when the Winter League final comes that it's not going to be nothing like that. You know, it's a completely different river. Teams on the day, obviously, this is why we're there. Winning the round with 32 points was Browning Hot Rods. Runners up with
That's not what you called them on your sheet.
this it is. And then second overall was with Pissed It Matrix Image with 33. Third overall, the wrong side of the points difference this week. So we've had a couple of rounds where we've been the right side. This week we were the wrong side with 34. And then Peterborough woke up again this week.
Oh,
They turned up.
did Matt Page fish?
Yeah, they might have won if he hadn't fished, but that's another thing. Peterborough 35. And then I think Stands were fifth. Stands were fifth. Sixth was Mark 1 White, and seventh was Mark 1 Black. But going on to individuals of the league, it's really close at the top between Steve Winters and ep8 Moretti. Steve Winters has won all 5 sections.
I find that incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then Tom Moretti has had 4 wins and a third. So amazing, really. So going into the last round, it'd be great if they both drew in the same section, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So well done.
But you've done well as well, haven't you? Are you in equal third? Were you telling me?
I'll be there. I'll be somewhere there, something like
Oh,
that.
you don't want to mention it, do you?
No,
No.
don't want to mention
You
it.
are. You're very good.
And then league overall. So equal top is Browning Hot Rods and Darwin Tackle and Baits with 10 points. So third is Matrix Image with 12, Stan J's 24, Peterborough 25, Mark 1 White 27, Mark 1 Black 32. So you've got a little battle at the top with obviously 3 teams all capable of winning it. I think if the league ended now, it goes on a cumulative points. This is how close our league is. Brown and Hot Rods have 160 points. Darwin Tackle and Baits have 161 points. And Matrix Image have 164 points.
That is crazy.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it always goes down to the last round.
Yeah.
Always. You know, I can't remember the last time where the league was sewn up before the last round.
Hot Rods won it last year, didn't they?
No, Image have won it the last 2 years.
That's right. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weren't Hot Rods in the league going to the last round last year?
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really. It's always so close.
That's right.
It always is so close. So yeah, last round showdown. We say that every year.
So you've got the practice. Well, no, so I'm confused. Is it 2 weeks' time? The last round.
So this Sunday we've got the practice, and then the following Sunday, which will be the 3rd of December, is the last round.
Oh, but the bypass bit is actually in.
Yes,
Practice
yeah.
and for the.
If it fishes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it will do, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Get to use a new car park. So that'll be good.
Yeah. What was I about to say? And of course, after the final round, it's the next big match is the Christmas Open, isn't it?
Yep. So you got the Christmas Open, which I think will be sold out in no time. Poor old Bob was at the end of the match was right. Yeah. And then you've obviously got all the people in the know of all texting him, so his phone would have been like a hotline.
Yeah.
Last night. So yeah, get booked on.
Yeah, because that will be sold out literally I'd imagine before this comes out.
Yeah. I'm not sure how many pegs he'll use, but obviously it depends on the bypass. If the bypass is fishing, then you've got more pegs you can use. So yeah, brilliant.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah, looking forward to this weekend. There's 4 sections at Benwick, so hopefully that should be good as well. It's had a little bit of a break for a few weeks. Yeah, mega. Venue that I don't know if we mentioned it, but Peterborough are now controlling the town Welland. I don't know if we've mentioned it, have we?
Are they? Isn't that not under their remit next season?
Yes, but I think they've got control of it now as well.
But it's still free fishing until next season.
Yeah, you have to download.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is good because it has been an area that has been hammered with illegal fish taking in the past, and it used to be really good in spawning for the roach and for the pike fishing and the zander back in the day.
Yeah.
But I think it's a
I
shadow.
know a few locals might think, oh, it used to be free fishing or whatever, but I think, like we've said before, we'd all rather pay a club, but knowing that the club that are controlling it are doing everything they can to protect the fish and the fishing.
Peterborough are really good.
Yeah,
They're very proactive, aren't they?
very, you know, they got a lot of water, they got a lot of put a lot of work in.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some sort of match on there as well before Christmas. I'm not sure what configuration, but I've heard sort of little rumours that Peterborough may be doing a competition.
Oh, that'd be good.
Like,
That is good. Yeah.
So that'd be really good.
Yeah. Cool. Well, fishing locally is good, isn't it?
It is at the minute, mate. Yeah.
I think the mild weather's probably helping. And that bit of water coming through has helped to flush out some stale water and some of the dying weed. So it's good. Right. I don't know how long this one is.
Quite long.
It feels like we've been here for 3 hours. So I think we better wrap it up.
All right.
All right. Right, guys. So thanks for watching. And if you're not an Arsenal fan, you know you're going to get it. Sorry, it's the way it is.